On the one hand, economic pain and health-related issues resulting from another lockdown are not something we can put up with, nor will the people accept. On the other hand, anyone that thinks this virus is not a real threat or that we don't need to wear masks or social distance needs to understand that the community spread is real and that this virus has severely impacted the lives of many people in our country.
A divided city. He said it today and he said it on Twitter. According to Mayor Lenny Curry, this is as hospitalizations are up in Duval County. The city reporting today there are 744 new cases of COVID-19 from yesterday, which is a single-day record for the county. There are now 460 people hospitalized. 82 of those are in the ICU. And when asked if the mayor planned to roll back reopening measures, he said he had no plans to do so.
Brings us to the Republican National Convention scheduled to be in Jacksonville next month. There are still a lot of unanswered questions about basic things like exactly where and how it will be held. Haley Harrison is on your side tonight with some answers after Jacksonville Mayor Lenny Curry held that press conference this afternoon. Haley?
Jeannie, this week, new federal surge testing sites opened up here in Jacksonville after the Health and Human Services Department deemed the city a COVID-19 hotspot. Now, it makes the community wonder now more than ever if Jacksonville is ready and able to hold a Republican National Convention. Republican fundraiser and donor Dan Eberhardt, who is planning on attending the RNC, confirmed to First Coast News Thursday that the Republican National Committee is considering moving the event to TIAA Bank Field. But the city says there have been a lot of options on the table from the beginning.
All of those facilities in the entertainment district were flagged by the using agency from the beginning as possible sites where they would host events or conduct business.
Mayor Lenny Curry says there are a number of metrics the city is watching to decide whether it's safe enough to have the mass gathering at the end of August.
We have widespread community spread and ICUs are full and hospitals can't handle it.
Although there is no target date on when the city would ask the RNC to go elsewhere, Mayor Curry says he will act in the best interest of public health, quote, when we get to it.
I saw news cycles that I believe it was Houston pulled their statewide convention. Okay, yeah, they pulled it a week out. They monitored the situation up until the point where they could make a decision. We are monitoring the situations.
And the mayor also gave an update on COVID-19 and announced new city-funded testing sites that will be rolling out here in Jacksonville beginning next week. I'll give you a closer look about where those will be coming up at 6. And live in Jacksonville, Haley Harrison, First Coast News, on your side.